What's up, everyone? It's Shaft, aka That Mill Guy, coming at you with the next episode of, well, not really anything. We're doing something new. We're doing something different. We're not going to be streaming today. I've been doing so much streaming, so many games that I figured, why not? I wanted to do some editing, return to it, learn and remember what pain and suffering was, because editing sucks. But now I'm here. Why though? Well, we're going to be doing something that many other YouTubers have done, and I figured I'd join the craze. I'm a goddamn content creator. Might as well do what everyone else is doing every once in a while. But we're going to be doing a live, quote unquote, react video to your MTG hot takes. Pretty simple. For the first episode, we kept it to the patrons, and if there are any future episodes, if this is something that you're interested in, then please, the best way to show me is to like on the video, share it, whatever. Comment down below your hot takes. I can gather them all up and do them in a future video. Okay? That's how you gotta show me you want more of these. If you want my dumb opinion and how I see things, then this is the way to do so. So let's hop right into it. I got them live right here. I made the mistake of reading one so far, but let's hop right into it. We're gonna keep this simple. So on Patreon, got a couple. DJ Howl, let's see what you got to say. If it's going to be this much trouble printing fetch lands into any halfway decent product, they should have just banned it in any non-legacy vintage commander format. They make for a miserable standard when legal with any non-basics with the land types, and they're the main barrier stopping people from buying into formats that would otherwise be expensive. This problem will only escalate with Arena's growth as people buy less paper products. I actually agree with this to a certain degree. I think this is one of those hypocritical things that Wizards has done for a while, where they can't directly acknowledge the secondary market, but then they do indirectly, and they can't for legal reasons. And this is one of those things where it's they're trying to make it more accessible they're trying to make it more lucrative for the shareholders up at Hasbro, but they also have to make the product accessible. That's the problem. So it's if it's non-accessible, just ban it, right? Because for a large part, we know that Wizards doesn't really care about the more eternal formats like Legacy and stuff. They don't care about that. That has reserved list stuff. They don't care. But formats like Modern, where there's no reserve list, you can print stuff into oblivion, right? You're not held back by that thing with the reserve list. So why not? I don't know. I agree with this to a certain degree. I don't know about banning them all, but Pioneer tried it, and I don't know. Pioneer's cool, I guess. It feels underpowered Modern. Just if you have the money, you just play Modern. If you don't have the money, it's cool. It's a cool extended standard, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, next hot take. All right, this one's from Travis. Hasbro and WotC are pushing the product prices to a breaking point. The MTG finance guys are further exasperating the issue. Within 5 years, MTG will be unaffordable to most people and crash in popularity. Rosewater will finally be fired, and in a desperate bid to save the game and rehab the company, the reserve list will be eliminated. Okay, the prices thing I agree with 110%. This is what we were talking about with the last hot take. Indirectly acknowledging, man, just print stuff. Wizards, there has to be a way where you can please the shareholders, please the ups at Hasbro, and do what you need to do. There has to be. You have core sets, you have master sets. The idea of theme doesn't matter anymore. You have secondary sets that can work with these. You don't need to print fetch lands and expensive cards into standard, and oh my god, within 5 years MTG will be unaffordable to most. I can agree with that, especially the non-arena formats. Oh man, honestly, shout out to Mana Traders. I'm not sponsored at all. Y'all doing God's work out here. But Rosewater will be fired and the reserve list will be eliminated. The reserve list being eliminated is that's a whole other video. Honestly, I want it to be gone. I don't think it will. That's my simple answer. I don't want to go into it because I feel like I'm going to go into the 6-7 minute rant. We got other hot takes, okay? So let's move on. We got Eric's hot take. Standard is for... okay, I gotta blur some of this out. Standard is for people and crybabies. Is that even a hot take? Slower formats are fine and smaller card pools make for creative deck building constraints, but goddamn, there are a bunch of bunk people who only play standard. So I guess this is, you know what, Eric, shout out to you, Eric. I feel like, you know, we're like I have Eric on Facebook and everything. I don't know him personally, but through the Mill Facebook group, I feel like this is exactly how Eric would be in real life, and I'm glad you're sticking true to the personality. Shout out to Eric. I love you, man. Anyway, okay, so I guess like there's a lot of filthy casuals in standard, and I guess like Mill, my channel, the community in general is a little bit more eternal format focused. But of course there is the subsect that do like arena and everything, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a hot take, but there are a lot of filthy casuals playing standard. All right, right along we got Johann with his hot take. The recent power creep in standard the recent power creep in standard is overall good for Magic. Okay. All right, now this one is from Johann. The recent power creep in standard is overall good for Magic. Getting new cards and mechanics that see play in eternal formats makes the older formats more accessible for new players. The problem is that bannings come too late when unforeseen consequences happen. It's okay to have cards that are legal in standard but banned in modern or older formats. Also, WotC should not be so afraid to errata cards that turned out to be strong. Print new cards with the right text, and LGS would have a trade in exchange for service for old cards. If the LGS does not send back the old cards but sells the new cards anyway, find some way to deal with it. So I'm gonna pick at like one part here. I think yes, I think WotC, I think there's been a lot of being crybabies in terms of recent Magic bannings. I think a lot of people are not willing to address formats and address cards with answers. People aren't willing to play around cards, and this happened with Modern, with many people talking about wanting to ban Uro, and I think that's ostensibly wrong. We ended up banning Astrolabe, which is okay, fine. But people that wanted to ban Uro, I think you're kind of just stuck in your ways. This is my hot take. I think you need to learn how to play Graveyard Hate and need to understand that Uro wasn't the problem. The other aspects of the decks were, which is what was beating you. Uro is fine, you just don't want to play Hate for it. Anyway, that's my rant. Get over it, people. The one I want to hit is the errata. Now that's interesting. Okay, in general, I think erratas are interesting. I don't know, like I want to be for erratas, but I think like eventually people will be like, oh, just errata it. Just change it from like 2 CMC to 3. Just do this. Oh, it's so simple. It's so simple. And I feel like it makes things too easy. If we go down the errata route, I think it just, again, undermines the R&D. It makes things too easy to the point where people think this is just an easy fix. We can do this all the time, instead of like, let's not try and be better players and solve Magic ourselves. Let's errata a card and let Wizards do it for us. Come on, Magic players. Grow the hell up. You need to solve your own problems sometimes. Okay, well, we got one more from Johann, so that's fine. And let's go at it. This is going to be the last hot take. Being on the draw is a bigger problem than the mulligan rule. If a player chose to be on the play, the player on the draw should be allowed one free mulligan. It could make the choice of being on the play more difficult. I'm really thinking deep about this one. I played a lot of TCGs. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. I've dabbled in Pokemon. I played Hearthstone. I would say religiously for like 2 years, like from beta for 2 years after that, and obviously Magic for like so many years. I'm just trying to think about like how they've handled mulligans and how like the classic has just been you get a draw, right? Like, is it that bad? I think against certain combo decks, it can be extremely jarring, right? Like in Vintage, we have like the Dredge tax. And so Dredge on the draw is extremely powerful because you get your Bazaar of Baghdad down before your opponent can get their land destruction out, right? So there is that. And then in stuff like Modern, like obviously Neobrand can win on turn 1, so it forces you to have cards like Force of Negation, and therefore the play draw really matters there. And I don't know, it's hard, right? It allows decks like mid-range to be better because it allows hand disruption to be better, right? Like on the play versus the draw, you can bring in more reactive spells versus proactive spells. So I don't know, it depends on deck construction. I think there is a downside, but specifically when you're focusing on formats like Modern is just drag racing, right? Like it's really like, it's not a nuanced game in a lot of cases. So in that case, yes, it's very play draw dependent. People are able to get on board faster in a queue and get their plan out faster. This can also be exacerbated in the stronger formats too, but like Legacy has everything like pretty under control because of the blue decks. I don't know. Yeah, I think in general it's okay. I don't think we need a mulligan to fix this. I think the draw is fine. It also lets like the people on the draw keep like more one-landers and stuff. I don't know. I think that's where I land. But all right, those are going to be all my hot takes. Let me know what you thought of the hot takes. Let me know what you think of the hot takes that we just discussed. And if you wanted to see more videos like this, comment your hot takes down below and just let me know, hey, I want to see another video like this. We're going to open it up to the public from now on. But before we end it off, quick shout out to the patrons, the individuals that help keep the quality high and the lights on. And of course, they were the whole reason for this video. So thank you everyone on screen right now. And of course, if you wanted to support me directly, the Patreon is the best place to do so. Link down below. But other than that, remember that even the impossible is possible. And as we ponder that thought, I hope you'll join me next time as we take a glimpse into the unthinkable.